Hey dudes, Sylphite Soltis here, and I'm back again with another simplified gearing guide for you. Having covered casters, healers, tanks, and rogues in one form or another already, there's really only one more class that needs to have its own specific gearing guide. Classic WoW's only physical range DPS class, the Hunter. Now this class is a super fast leveler, so there's a very high chance that many, if not most of the first level 60s on WoW Classic will be these marksmen. So they're probably the ones that will benefit the most from this guide in early Phase 1. Before jumping in, I will say that I've slightly altered the form of this guide in order to make it a little bit simpler, without as many items cluttering the screen. As always, there's a link to my initial blog post in the description below, and that has all of the items listed out in a written form, so feel free to check that out if you want every single item. But anyway, let's get right into the guide, shall we? Alliance Step 1. Do LBRS once. Assuming you're already level 60, the first thing you should do as an Alliance Hunter is run LBRS at least once to obtain some great quest rewards, as well as up to 13 possible drops. Biju's quest chain, which starts in the troll section of the dungeon, awards gloves with 2% hit, which is an excellent item for hunters who need to aim for 9% hit total. Though you'll have to run in and out a couple of times to complete this quest chain in a single run, it's definitely worth it to do so. Also, pick up the item General Dracasath's Command off the final boss, Overlord Wyrmthalak, in order to start a short quest chain to defeat General Dracasath in UBRS for a nice trinket. Since you're going to have to do UBRS anyway, you might as well get this 2% crit trinket along the way. Here are the two quests that you should be looking at as an Alliance Hunter, as well as the items that they award. Also remember that there are 13 possible items that can drop from bosses, so again, take a look at the blog for all of those. Step 1. Do the Molten Core and Onyxia attunements. No matter if you're Horde or Alliance, you'll need to complete the following two quests at some point if you plan on raiding in Classic. Pick up the appropriate quests from their respective locations. Attunement to the Core from the High Elf outside BRD's entrance, Dragonkin Menace from Morgan's Vigil if you're Alliance, or Warlord's Command from Kargath if you're Horde. Work through any of the portions of the quest chains that don't require dungeon runs first, Alliance members, and then run through BRD, LBRS, and UBRS as the quests require. The reason you want to get this done before focusing on dungeons is simply to kill two birds with one stone. Get attuned to the raids, and possibly pick up some items along the way. In summary, do Attunement to the Core, which awards no gear but requires a BRD run. Do the Onyxia Attunement, which awards gloves, 2% hit, and a trinket with 2% crit for the Horde. And along the way, you're going to run Blackrock Depths, which has 20 useful item drops for hunters, LBRS, which has 13 useful item drops for hunters, and UBRS, which also has 13 useful items for hunters. Step 2. Do these quests. After, or even between portions of the attunement quests, work to complete these quests to obtain a great chest item, trinket if you're Horde, neckpiece, and a bow if needed. The first quest is Job Opening, Guard Captain of Raventusk Village in the Hinterlands, which is a Horde-only quest that awards a trinket with 1% hit. However, this quest was initially added in patch 1.5 though, so it may or may not be available in Phase 1, depending on how they do quests. The second quest is High Chief Winterfall in Winterspring, which awards a very nice green quality chest. The third quest, and I'm sure you know it if you've seen my other videos by now, is In Dreams, which awards a wonderful neck piece. Finally, if you're Alliant, you should complete the quest Order Must Be Restored, and if you're Horde, the quest chain ending in the Scarlet Oracle Demetria, both in the Eastern Plaguelands. These quest chains award a very good ranged weapon. Step 3. Run more Blackrock Depths, Lower Blackrock Spire, and or Upper Blackrock Spire. After finishing up your attunements and knocking out the quests with appropriate gear, consider running more Blackrock Depths, LBRS, or UBRS. BRD is the most lucrative in terms of item drops, with nearly every item slot covered. However, there is a general lack of items with plus hit there, and there may be significant competition from rogues and DPS warriors for the items that drop. So it might actually make more sense to run a different dungeon instead. Lower Blackrock Spire is great for hunters because it holds a considerably better selection of items, including 2 Beast Stalker items, shoulders and gloves, and 2 excellent ranged weapons, Rip Hook and Black Crow, both from Shadowhunter Vashka Jin. Plus, if you're running with guildmates who need the quests that you've already finished, you can build better friendships along the way. However, my guess is that by this point, you'll probably need more plus hit in order to not miss all the time in raids. In this case, it would probably make the most sense to run UBRS. There are 13 useful items in this 10-man dungeon, and all of them are highly sought after by rogues and warriors as well. But that's for a really good reason. They just have a ton of hit. But for simplicity, just run any of the dungeons that you feel like running or that will take a hunter along. All of them have lots of gear, and unless you're just looking for a specific item slot, they'll help you get geared up just fine. As always, here's a brief summary of all of the item drops you can expect to get in these dungeons, as well as which boss drops them. So, there you have it. Do some quests, get attuned, and run some dungeons. Pretty easy, right? Overall, gearing a hunter shouldn't be too difficult. But as you get more gear, you do want to pay attention to what slots you're still missing, and run the dungeon with the most usable items at that point. To that end, and as always, I've included a list of all the dungeon drops hunters can make use of, including both leather and mail items, as well as what boss they drop from, over on my blog. So take a look and see what's available for your sharp-eyed marksman. But anyway, that's it for today. If you liked this guide or found it useful, remember to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications when I release more content in the future. Also, check out my blog over on Blogspot where all of this content is put down in written form. Support me by becoming one of my patrons if you are interested in that sort of thing, and follow me on Facebook and Twitter for updates or to just talk about WoW Classic at your leisure. But no matter what, I'll see all of you in Azeroth on August 27th. So for now, and as always, take it easy.